Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where we get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Satish Shukla, who is the co-founder of Addverb, which creates robotic and automation solutions for factories and warehouses. Hi, Satish. Welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priyaranjan. Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
I would to start with before we proceed into the podcast. Can you tell us a bit about your background? And I think there is a story to how you empower women in your organization. So tell us a bit about it.
Sure. So, about myself, I come from a very small industrial town in Madhya Pradesh called Nagda, which basically has one of the world's largest uh, man-made cellulosic fiber unit of Grasim Industries.
Mm-hmm.
And my father used to work in Grasim Industries, and these were townships in remote locations, and they would typically have all the facilities like employee accommodation, hospitals, schools, and playing grounds, clubs, etc. So I was brought up in that industrial town in a very small society, very
Wow.
close knit society, where probably I think we all knew each other by name, by our backgrounds. So we had a very good social bond in that
Mm-hmm.
township. So in small towns, typically in India, I did my 12th in 2007. So at that time, typically in India, there were only two options. Either you could go for science or you could go for commerce. And typically, students who had a lot of confidence in themselves would go for science. And it would be looked upon as a stream that bright students would typically choose. So I also followed the bandwagon and took up science. And then I again followed the bandwagon and took up engineering. And I'm a non practicing software engineer. But
Mm-hmm.
during engineering, I realized that engineering was not my cup of tea. And that was the time when I started my preparation for MBA. And then I got into TISS Mumbai, did my master's from there. And then I got placed into Asian Paints. And there I got the opportunity to work in HR for almost 1.5 years in their Rohtak factory in Haryana, which is one of the world's largest paint factory and one of the most automated paint factory in the world. After 1.5 years, I thought that I would really want to take a hands-on experience in operations or business,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I took a jump from HR to supply chain. So you don't typically see those kind of jump. You see the other way around. People jump from supply chain or line functions to HR. So I
Right.
took a jump from HR to supply chain, and Asian Paints was very gracious enough to provide me that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I took experience in brownfield expansion project. I got hands-on experience in material handling automation, process automation, and I also looked after different nuances of production, quality, sustainability. Then, along with my colleagues Sangeet, Prateek, and Beer, we started this company Adverb in June 2016. So, so that is about my personal journey. I will touch the company's journey as well.
Sure.
We were basically at Asian Paints. We were doing a lot of automation for material handling. We were building. Asian Paints was making automated factories every 3 years. So they built a factory in Rohtak in 2010. Then they built another automated factory in Khandala in 2013. Then they built two automated factories in Mysore and Vizag. So Asian Paints was doing a lot of automation when we were there in Asian Paints, and we got a lot of exposure in automation as users of automation, right? Who were managing the project installation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we saw there was that a lot of these automation, robotics, and automation was imported from outside India. And 2016 was a time when there were multiple levers that were active in Indian economic scenario. So one GST was implemented. So there was a consolidation of warehouses by organized sector. There was a move from unorganized to organized sector. This was also the time when Amazon had come into India and the famous e-commerce wars started between Amazon, Flipkart, and other e-commerce giants also came in. Mintra went on mobile completely, then came back to web.
Mm-hmm.
So fashion and other categories also started coming online. This was also the time when organized retail really penetrated in every nook and corner of the country. So formats like Reliance Fresh, formats like Big Bazaar, formats like DMart started expanding aggressively, and people became convinced with the idea of organized retail, right? So these were, and then there was also the push by Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi sir about Make in India. So there was a lot of push on manufacturing as well. So we felt the levers were right, and there will be a demand for warehouse automation, material handling automation in the country. We had enough experience and knowledge about the industry by virtue of the role that we were doing in Asian Paints. And that's why we decided to start this company in June 2016. And we felt that the time is right when companies expanding in India would need automation. And that's how we basically started this organization. Now, in this organization, our dream, our inspiration were always Indian engineers.
Mm.
Engineers like Dr. Abdul Kalam, engineers like Vikram Sarabhai, engineers like Metro Man of India, we all were inspired by these engineers, Mr. Sridharan. We were all inspired by these engineers, and we took them as our inspiration when we built our offices and our manufacturing facilities. And also, one of the things that we wanted to really act on was to bring more women in the field of STEM and in manufacturing. So when we opened our manufacturing facility, we hired a lot of women engineers who had done diploma, who had done engineering to work on the shop floor to build these robots. And in order to inspire them, we also narrated a lot of stories around women engineers who had done well. So at the back, you can see a
Right.
wallpaper of ISRO scientist, Miss Minal Rohit, who was instrumental in many missions of ISRO. So what
Right.
we have done is we have taken many scientists, women and men, and have dedicated meeting rooms to them where we have written their stories, and people can come and be inspired and talk about people who have helped build India, right? Because at the end of the day, we also wanted to provide automation for Indian companies. So that's what our inspiration was.
Got it. So, curious to know, let's say you got the idea and you had a vision to build something, but how did you go about executing it in the initial days? Like, let's talk about the first day or first month of building Adverb.
Sure, sure. So you've really taken us down the memory lane, and we started from a small 400 square feet office in Tagore Garden,
Mm-hmm.
which was on the first floor, and on the ground floor we had HDFC Bank. So by default, they became our banker,
Mm-hmm.
and so at that point of time, we knew that we wanted to go into warehouse automation, and we had good experience of warehouse automation by virtue of our position, as I have already said. We
Mm-hmm.
started doing a lot of consulting for many companies at that point of time. So there were many companies who wanted to explore automation, and they wanted subject matter experts who could help them in designing the layout of their warehouse, in designing the processes of their warehouse, what kind of automation they would go for, what kind of automation would be ideal for them. And then they would also, a lot of them would not know what are the kind of vendors, what is the kind of costing, what is the kind of ROI they would need. So we did a lot of consulting initially, and with many players. And what it also helped us do was to it also helped us to understand the kind of demand that was there in the market. So our experience was as a user. We knew what kind of automation works, what kind of robotic systems should be there, what are the different challenges in implementing automation systems. During our first 6 months, first 3 to 6 months, when we did consulting and met a lot of customers, we
Mm-hmm.
got to know what is the pain point of the customer, what are the requirements for different sectors. So what kind of automation solution would a e-commerce company require? What kind of automation solution would an FMCG company require? What kind of an automation solution would a retail player require? What kind of automation solution would a fashion grocery player require, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gave us a lot of insights, and that's where we understood that we will need to become a comprehensive solutions player who becomes a one-stop shop for any customer who wants to automate their warehouse, factories, or material handling operations. And that led to us to build our extensive product portfolio. And
Okay.
then we decided and froze the products that we wanted to build. We created a product roadmap for next 3 to 5 years, and what we would need to make these products, and what we would also need to manufacture these products, and what we would also need to make the software of this product. So you have to understand, right? Automation and robotics is a game of hardware and software. It is not just only about mechanical hardware or electrical hardware, but it is also about the software which controls this hardware. So we are talking
Right.
about regenerative AI. There's a lot of hype around AI, but the robots and automation system also requires AI, machine learning, deep learning in order to perform different tasks, right? So we identified all these three pillars that we would require to make our product successful and lead their adoption. So this was the first 6 month journey that we had in our initial days.
Okay. So curious to know, how did you get the clients? So you started with consulting. So how did you reach out to companies? How did you convince them to choose you as a partner for their problem at hand? And what were the initial challenges? How did you then pivot from that from consulting company to what you are right now?
So we were always very clear that we will be a warehouse automation company. Consulting was just a way of understanding the market, right? Okay, what is the exact requirement of the market? And we also knew that if we are talking about industrial machinery here, until and unless I have the requisite safety norms in place, until and unless I have the requisite testing certificates in place, nobody is just going to buy an industrial machinery from me just like that, right?
Right.
So we needed time to also build our products as well. So we never positioned ourselves as a consulting company. We always went and said that, okay, this is our solution portfolio, and we can if you can share your requirements with us, we can work with you. But initially people wanted to check our capability, our depth, and they found that, okay, if we can take their consultancy or if we can work with them for some time to understand their knowledge, it will be helpful. So how we initially approached was, since we had worked extensively in Asian Paints and we had a very good network connect in supply chain domain by virtue of a lot of Asian Paints alumni, we had some initial contacts. And then also the old way of cold calling always works.
Mm-hmm.
You just pick up a phone and you call up people and you ask if they have any requirement. You reach out to people on LinkedIn, you reach out to your connects from college, you reach out to your connects from your work. That's how we got initial bit of contacts. Once we started having our product portfolio up, it was easier for us to penetrate further because we could identify target audience, target market, and then we could go to them with specific solutions. So that's how the journey progressed for us.
Uh, so you spoke about different technologies like AI, machine learning, hardware, and software. So can you tell us what are the different products that you have right now, and how what kind of technologies are in place right now?
Sure. So right now, so Adverb today, the kind of product portfolio that we have, it is one of the most extensive product portfolio in the world. There is no single company in the world which has the entire product range that we have. And I'm not talking about India. I'm again reiterating that there is no company in the world which
Mm-hmm.
has the entire product portfolio that we have today. Our product portfolio can be classified into two categories. One is fixed automation, second is flexible automation. So by fixed automation, I mean automation which requires fixed infrastructure in the form
Okay.
of storage racks, in the form of some fixed architecture that needs to go on ground. Flexible automation comprises of the automation systems and robotic systems which do not require any fixed infrastructure in the form of racks, etc. So here the deployment time is fast, the layouts can be changed very easily, it is more configurable, right? In fixed automation, once you have put the fixed infrastructure up, you cannot change the physical layout, but yes, you can utilize the physical layout for different purpose with the help of the software, and you can make it configurable. Now, in fixed automation, the kind of product portfolio, the first product portfolio that we have is automated storage and retrieval system.
Mm-hmm.
So automated storage and retrieval system can be used for pallet handling operation or carton handling operations. So in a warehouse, when you are using your material stored in pallets or cartons, right? Typically, people do storage on the ground, right? They do
Right.
not go up to height. Now, what you have to understand is the height is unutilized space for me. So in
Mm-hmm.
automated storage and retrieval systems, there are special racks which can go up to 25, 20, 30-meter high, even 40-meter high. And then we have equipments like a mother-child shuttle or a crane-based ASRS system, which goes and retrieves these materials from different level of heights and delivers it on the ground. And then you can use to pick the item from that material, or you can dispatch the complete pallet itself, right? The material kept on the pallet. Then similarly, we have a carton shuttle system where you want to store your material in cartons. So especially in fashion warehouses or in e-commerce warehouses, you store the material in cartons or blue colored crates or gray colored crates, right? Because you will have to pick one or two items. You do not need to dispatch the complete carton. So that's where our carton shuttle comes into the picture, which is again a goods to person system where the carton shuttle travels on rails across different levels, and it brings the crate out to a goods to person system. The person picks the item, and then the carton or crate again goes back into the storage system. So
Mhm.
what it does is it reduces the amount of time that people have to spend in walking or searching the material, right? It increases your throughput drastically. Then we have a pallet shuttle system, which we basically call cruiser, which is widely used in industries like beverages, which have less number of SKUs and have complete pallet handling operations. So that broadly comprises, and then we also have a rail guided vehicle, which basically runs on a rail mounted on the floor and carries your pallet load at large distances. So
Mhm.
this is our fixed automation solution portfolio. In flexible automation solution portfolio, we have mobile robot, which is autonomous mobile robot, which comes enabled with a lidar and works on natural navigation. It comes in different payload sizes like 200 kg, 500 kg, 1 ton, 1.5 ton, and can move material from one place to another. And then we have sorting robot, which basically helps in sortation of material. So in warehouses like fashion, e-commerce, retail, etc., you consolidate all the items that need to be dispatched, and then you sort them according to the destination sequence or business logic.
Mm.
So there are two options. Either you can install a fixed sorter, which is a lot of cost, time, effort to stabilize, or you can also use sorting robots, which are very flexible in nature and distribute the material very easily. So we also have different variants of sorting robots, tabletop sorters, tabletop sorting robots which run on table structure, floor mounted sorting robots which run on floor structure. So apart from this, we also have a software category where we build warehouse management system, which basically manages the inventory in your warehouse,
Mhm.
does the classification of your inventory, ensures that optimum inventory levels are maintained, right? Then we have a warehouse control system. So if you have different automation systems in your warehouse, the warehouse control system coordinates these automation systems to ensure that the item is picked and moved into the warehouse as per the required business logic. And then we have a fleet management system, which basically controls a fleet of mobile robots. So if you have 40 robots, 50 robots in your warehouse, autonomous mobile robots of different types from different players, you would need a central system, which will be like the brain of this fleet of robots, which
Mhm.
will give commands to these robots, and these robots will then navigate on their own. So we also have a fleet management system. And then we have a warehouse execution system, which basically, if your warehouse is completely automated, you can combine the WMS and WCS and create a warehouse execution system. So these are three product categories that we have.
Mm. Yeah, wow. I think that's a comprehensive, that's all you can imagine about robotics and industrial automation, and everything is there in your portfolio. Having said that, how do you describe the success story of Adverb so far? As in form of any success stories from clients, or would you talk about the scale of operation right now, or who are some of the big feature clients who are relying on us for their automation and robotics?
Sure. So we, in terms of scale, we have two manufacturing facilities, and both of these manufacturing facilities are situated in Noida. So we call our first manufacturing facility as Bot Valley, a
Mhm.
place where robots are brought to life. It basically also acts as our head office and our R&D center. So this is the place where and it also has an experience center for customers where they can come and they can experience automation. So if I am a customer and I want to understand how automation would work, so one option is I can see all the videos, animations, and I can understand.
Mm.
Second option is he or she can come to Bot Valley and can experience automation firsthand by using different equipments in Bot Valley. So we have built a very unique experience center, which is one of its kind in India, where they can experience different fixed automation solutions, flexible automation solutions. It also doubles up as our specialized manufacturing facility.
Mhm.
Recently, we also inaugurated Botverse, which is our second manufacturing facility and is one of the largest mobile robot manufacturing facility in the world. And this was inaugurated by Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Sri Yogi Adityanath ji, on 25th June. And it will provide employment to more than 3,000 skilled youth of this country, uh, Botverse, and it will have the ability to manufacture more than 60,000 robots in a year, right, of different configurations. So in terms of scale, this is the kind of scale we have built. And in terms of our success story, so we have worked with startups and we have also extensively worked with Fortune 500 companies. Today, we have office in Australia, we have office in Middle East, we have office in Southeast Asia, we have office in Europe, we have office in US. We also have an R&D center in US. So we have a total workforce of more than 750 people,
Mm-hmm.
and we out of which 20 to 25% of the workforce is dedicated to R&D. So as an organization, we invest heavily in R&D because we are in a field where technology changes very fast, and we also should be ahead of the technology curve, and that has ensured that we always have an extensive product portfolio offering. So this is about our success and our journey. Some of our marquee clients includes Reliance.
Mm-hmm.
We started working with Reliance in 2018 and partnered with them to deliver a lot of automation warehouse for their GeoMart business. Subsequently, after a period of time, this customer vendor relationship also turned into strategic partnership, where Reliance decided to invest around 132 million USD in Series B funding in Adverb. So the call to get Reliance on board was mutually beneficial because Reliance has presence in petrochemical, is coming in new energy, has presence in retail, has presence in e-commerce, grocery. So they would have requirements of different sectors, and it will give us an opportunity to create unique, innovative solutions for Reliance, which will have a lot of captive demand.
Mm-hmm.
So we always had that in mind, and that it was really great, and it was a success story when a customer becomes your investor.
Right.
In terms of investment, we also so our chairman is Shri Jalash Dani, who is also promoter of Asian Paints, and he was our boss in Asian Paints.
Mm-hmm.
So it was also very kind of him to come on board when we left Asian Paints and started this company. And he invested in us, and he's our chairman, and he's also associated with us, and he continues to be our guide and mentor. In terms of some of our marquee clients, we have worked with Indian Oil, we have worked with DHL, we have worked with Maersk, we have worked with Landmark Group, Amazon, Flipkart, Unilever, ITC, Marico, Dabur, Johnson and Johnson, Patanjali. So you can see that we have an extensive client list
Yeah.
from across different sectors, and we have more than 300 clients today
Wow. All
globally.
big names. All big names. Wow. So I just have one last question for you. Uh, so all this success, all these years of entrepreneurship, I'm sure you would have learned a lot of lessons about being an entrepreneur, about entrepreneurship in general. So what would you say to our listeners who are trying to become future entrepreneurs? What are the lessons that you have learned that they can apply to their ventures as well?
So at the outset, I would like to make a disclaimer. It's been only 6.5 years in this journey, which is not a lot of time actually in entrepreneurship. But with my limited understanding, some of the things that people can probably look at while in their journey, which when I reflect back on my journey, I have come to realize is first, see, you should have a really good team. And when I say good team, I don't mean only the capability or the technical or functional skills, but the team on which you can trust, right?
Mm,
You should have a team which will be ready to take a fall for you, and which will also be ready to go out on a limb for you, right? That is the first and foremost thing. If you have the right team in the place, right? You can decide what your journey is going to be or what is the destination that you want to go to. So a lot of time, people who are starting on their own, they are only focused on solving a problem. But here, I think what worked for us was that we had a very good team with very diverse opinion and diverse viewpoints, and the team had immense trust in each other. So it is very important to have the right people, and then you can always decide where do you want to go. Second, you should have the courage to fail. It is it, it, it is perfectly okay to fail, but you should have the tenacity to bounce back. So the
mm,
ability to bounce back is something that goes a very long way. in creating an organization or probably running an organization. Because as an entrepreneur, you will face more lows than highs. That I can assure you, because there are so many things that you need to look for. There are so many things that you need to cater to.
Mm,
Third, there should be a lot of positivity, right? Because you are also taking this journey for the first time, correct?
mm,
So it is so I always think about journeys or explorations of pioneers like Christopher Columbus. So we have all heard the story. There was a mutiny about to happen until they saw the land, right? So
mm,
so you are the ship of the you are the captain of the ship. So it is very important to remain positive, because you will not have all the answers to the questions, right? But
right.
if you are positive, the team will also feel positive, and they will always be inclined to search for the answers, right? And you can avoid a mutiny per se. So it is very important, very, very important to remain positive and always look for answers, right? And fourth, every day is a learning experience, right? Every You cannot come with predefined notions or judgments that this is how it is going to happen, this is how it is going to happen. Every day is going to be a new challenge, and every day is going to be a new learning, and you should have the ability to improvise,
Mm,
because plans keep on changing. Nobody thought that there would be COVID, right? For an industry like ours, which works on warehouse automation and distribution,
mm,
nobody thought there would be COVID.
right.
And when lockdowns were there and COVID was at its peak, nobody thought that things will normalize so fast,
Yeah.
right? When we were closing orders, everybody told us that will people close bigger orders without ever meeting someone? Would people do that virtually? We had no answers,
Mm,
right? We cannot take customers for reference visits. We cannot call customers to our facility. We cannot go and meet the customers. So how do we win the trust of the customer, right? So,
right.
but you need to remain positive. You need to improvise. You need to solve the problems that are present right now, while having one view towards the future, how the future would turn out. And the biggest learning is that you should have the right people and right team, and you should always seek the right people. That goes a very long way in creating an organization, based on my limited experience.
Wow, I think your answer was spot on. And the Christopher Columbus example, I was not aware of. I think that's an interesting story and very relevant to entrepreneurship context. Thanks, Satish, for joining us and spending some time with us and telling the story of Adverb to us. It was a pleasure to have you on our platform, and our best wishes for Adverb.
Thank you, Priranjan. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.